Most organization advice actually makes ADHD homes harder to maintain because most organization advice actually assumes a few things. You will remember everything, you'll have consistent energy, and you'll follow the system perfectly. But the thing is, ADHD does not work like that. Some organizing advice actually creates more steps, more decisions, more maintenance, and more frustration. And the worst part is, it makes you feel like you're the problem and you're not. Your system just isn't designed for how ADHD brains actually function. So in this video, I'm going to show you ADHD organ advice that actually makes things worse and what works better. Because once your environment actually works with your ADHD brain, then keeping things organized is much easier. ADHD organization mistake number one is hiding everything. One of the biggest mistakes that we can make is hiding everything in closed containers. A lot of organization advice says put things in bins, put things in drawers, put things in cabinets. And it does look really nice. But here's the thing, ADHD brains actually rely on visual reminders. If we can't see something, it doesn't exist. We forget it's even there. When things are hidden, we forget we have them, we forget where they are, we forget to use them, and then we go to the store and just buy duplicates. Or things pile up because it takes more effort to put them away. A better approach is to actually make frequently used items visible. We need to be able to see them. So we do this by using a few different things. Clear bins, trays, open shelving, baskets, all are good places to start to actually make things visible and keep them visible. And the reason this is good for ADHD is because your home should remind you. You should not be required to remember everything. An ADHD organization mistake number two is too many containers. Buying lots of containers feels productive. It feels like you're fixing the problem. But those very same containers create a hidden issue. Too many micro decisions. Does this container actually go inside of another bin? What is the category of this bin? Where does this bin belong? These are all questions and decisions you have to make. And the bad thing is, every extra step adds friction. If something takes too long to actually put away, then our ADHD brains will just avoid doing it altogether. So here's a solution. You want to have fewer containers and make simpler categories. For example, you might have one container for daily items, one container for weekly items, one container for things you rarely use at all. And the reason this is good for ADHD because fewer decisions means easier maintenance overall for you. And you can see I have way too many containers in front of me. And then what I do, I take it and I simplify it down to one container. If you're enjoying the content and getting value out of the content, then subscribe to the channel and like the video. An ADHD organization mistake number three is organizing by perfection. A lot of times, organization advice focuses on everything needs to be perfect. Everything matches, everything is color coded, everything is arranged aesthetically. But the thing is, perfection-based systems are harder to maintain. And that's because life itself is not perfect. So when a system actually requires precision, it breaks down really easily. So what you want to do is organize for function and not appearance. And the reason is, if it works easily, it's going to stay organized longer. And the reason this is good for ADHD because simple beats perfect. And you can see right here, I'm trying to line these containers up just perfect, make sure they're straightened up and everything. And then you see right here, I don't have them lined up perfect. The cool thing is, they still work the same way whether they're lined up perfect or not. An ADHD organization mistake number four is storing things far from where they're used. A lot of organization advice says everything should go in its proper place, but a lot of times the proper place is not the most useful place for that thing to be. So maybe use something in the living room all the time, but it's stored in a completely different room. That creates friction because now to get that thing, you have to go to that room, and now to put it back, you have to go to that other room instead of just having it in the place you use it all the time. And here's the thing, the more effort it takes to actually put something away, the less likely it's going to happen consistently. So here's what we need to do. We store items where the problem happens. For example, a trash can near the couch, a phone charger near where you sit, having scissors by where packages are open, having a lint roller by the door, having a launch pad by your door to sit your keys on. And this happened to me where I'm trying to leave and get out the door, and then I realize my keys are in the other room. I have to go to the other room, retrieve my keys, and then I can get out the door. Instead, if they're right on that launch pad, I don't have to go look for them. And so what you're gonna do in your ADHD home, you're gonna put things where you stop and not where you think they belong. An ADHD organization mistake number five is too many categories. When you create very detailed categories, it feels organized, but it often turns out to be really overwhelming. And the reason is when you have too many categories, it's much hard to decide where things go. So, for example, you might have different bins. One bin for short sleeve shirts, one bin for long sleeve shirts, one bin for shirts that you work out in, one bin for shirts that you walk around the house in. And that is a lot of different bins, a lot of different shirts. You're trying to just make sure you're getting into the right bin. And so instead of all that, just have one bin for tops, one bin for pants, one bin for clothes you just wear at home casually. Now, the reason this is good for ADHD because less sorting means less stress. An ADHD organization mistake number 6 is using systems that only work on your good days. Many organizing systems assume a few things. They assume you'll have the time. They assume that you will have the energy, and they will assume that you are going to stay consistent. But ADHD energy fluctuates. And if a system requires motivation, it will break. So a better approach to take is use systems that still work when you're tired. For example, throw your clothes in the laundry basket instead of trying to fold everything. Use an open bin instead of complex sorting. Hang your clothes up on hooks instead of actually getting a hanger and trying to hang it inside of a closet. And this is important. When you have ADHD, your system must survive your low energy days. And you might have a similar situation as this when you have your low energy days. An ADHD organization mistake number 7 is buying organization before reducing items. Many people will just go out and buy containers without reducing what they own. But the thing is, more stuff requires more organization. More stuff requires more effort to actually organize all that stuff. And so sometimes the real solution is reducing decisions. And so what we need to do is reduce the friction before actually adding complexity. And here's the best part for ADHD. Less stuff equals less decisions that we have to make, and that can also lead to less stress as well. An ADHD organization mistake number 8 is making everything require multiple steps. The more steps required, the less likely something happens consistently. So for example, you take an item out, you open a drawer, you open a container, you place the item carefully back wherever you want to place it, you close the drawer, you close the container. That's 6 steps. That's a lot to do. And so what we need to do is make the easiest action the correct action. So things like using hooks instead of folding, using open bins instead of having a container with a lid on it, or maybe use a tray or basket instead of actually using a drawer. And here's why this is good for ADHD, because reducing steps actually increases consistency. And so you can see an example right here. I want to get some silverware. I have to open the drawer. I have to get the silverware out. I have to close the drawer back. That's 3 different steps. Or I can have just one basket right here, put all my silverware in that basket, and then when I need silverware, I go to that basket and just retrieve whatever kind of silverware I want. Makes it really simple, and it makes it only 1 step. An ADHD organization mistake number 9 is trying to organize like someone without ADHD. Many systems are designed for people who remember where everything is, enjoy detailed sorting, maintain routines easily. On the flip side, ADHD brains need visibility, simplicity, flexibility, and accessibility. So here's a better approach. Design our environment for how our ADHD brain works, not how it should work. And here's why this is important for ADHD. Your home should work for your brain and not against your brain. Right here, you can see I have 2 different baskets. I have some blue pens. I'm gonna put some light blue pens in one basket and some dark blue pens in another basket and separate them that way. Or I have some green pens, have some light green pens and some dark green pens. I'm gonna separate them both into 2 different baskets. But I don't need to do that. I can take all my blue pens and put them in a basket, all my green pens and put them in a basket, or I take them all and put them in the one big basket I have all my other pens in. And that just makes things a lot easier. If organizing felt harder than it should, it may not be you. It may be the system. More traditional organization strategies look good, sound good, and create more friction. ADHD-friendly organization focuses on visibility, simplicity, fewer decisions, fewer steps, because the easier something is to maintain, the more likely it's gonna actually stay organized. And you might be thinking, how do I get started with ADHD organization? And how do I find these ADHD-friendly systems? I do have a playlist with videos that will help you with just that. Just go to that playlist when it comes up and find the video that works for you.